So I'm doing kind of an impromptu live to show you how to make gluten-free vegan sausages, or at least how to mold them. I did this on Instagram yesterday with a different recipe, but today I'm doing try two on my second recipe. So I'm going to put the link in the chat where you can get the class. Let's see. Yeah. And if you're here, go ahead and say hi. Let me know how you're doing. And we'll get going in just a moment if I can figure out where to move all these things. So it's easy to get sausage. Here we go. Let's just do this. Too many things going on at the same time. Imagine that. Hello, everybody. You might be going, what arts and crafts project are we getting ready to do today? We're going to make vegan sausage that's gluten-free and oil-free. I need to have sound effects. So this Saturday at 1 p.m. I'm taping the live class of veggie hot dogs and sausages. We're going to make like the big sausages. So here's the dilemma, is that it's easy to get gluten-full vegan sausages. I can't have gluten, and if you can't have gluten, or maybe you don't tolerate it all the time, it'd be really cool to have some gluten-free sausages. So in the class, I'm doing the veggie hot dogs, which are made with real veggies. Mouth drop, right? And we're going to do, this is the second sausage. The first sausage is going to be made with like red lentils and millet and sweet potatoes. This one is brown rice, chickpeas, beets, and carrots. There are flowers in both. Oh, hey, Joanne, it's good to see you. If you guys are here, please go ahead and say something in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So yesterday, if you saw the IG live, and you can go watch it now if you want to at Kathy Hester Cooks over on Instagram, I flew a little too close to the sun. So I was trying to make not only a gluten-free vegan sausage, but make it flour-free. And that just, it made a beautiful, delicious Italian sausage that I ended up making for ground. It's just not gonna, it's gonna be, it's not as crumbly as I thought it was gonna be, but it's not gonna hold in that big, fat Italian sausage shape that I want it to be in. So this is try two, which often happens, and today I'm using the Polish sausage blend, so like a fresh Polish sausage, because Cheryl comes from a Polish background and that's one of their favorite things to eat on the holidays. So I thought, if I can make that, it would be even better. Hi, Sky Warrior. It is awesome that you're here. So even if you use my recipe, somebody else's recipe, now these recipes are not available yet on the blogs or anything. They're going to be in my class, which happens at Saturday. This Saturday at 1 is when it's taped. However, if you're not free Saturday 1 Eastern Standard Time, you can still purchase the class and watch it whenever you want to. Or you can be live, or both. So you could be live and watch it whenever you want to, because that's the way I roll. So let's get some of this. So this is my water. I've already dipped my hands in there. That's why you're seeing some little floaty things. It's just this dough. So the dough is a little wet. It's going to be kind of a Play-Doh consistency. Now, if you're making vegan sausages with gluten, they're going to be a little bit possibly more stretchy and possibly a little more dry. So you can see a little, I also have pink hands from beets. So maybe, can you see it right there? There's a little bit that's stuck to my hand. So I'm just rolling it and trying to make that thick sausage shape. Now, I'm going for a Beyond Meat. And so I'm going to take that because your hands get really sticky from this. Hi, Mary from sunny Tucson, Arizona. Tucson. Why did I say Tuscan? Guys, I've got Italy on the brain. Tucson, Arizona. Awesome. It must be hotter where you are than where I am. Here, let me move this up. So here's the deal. So I've got my little sausage in the shape that I want. I've cut out some little rectangles out of my parchment paper just to make it easier. So I have those. And then I have this pre-cut foil. So I'm just going to go ahead. You could also tear off a piece of foil. Let me get this a little closer. So I'm going to take this, and it's okay if it's not perfect, right? These aren't perfect. And then I'm going to roll it around in the parchment paper first, and it's okay if there's a little, if it doesn't meet perfectly. Mine never do. Ooh, of course it does the one time I say mine never do. Okay. Then I'm just going to wrap it up in the foil. And we'll talk about some alternatives too. So if you have some questions, right? And then I'm going to find the end. And that's how the sausages get those little funky ends, or at least veggie sausages. I'm sure there's another way that the other ones do. So I have this cool steamer basket. I'm going to steam these in my Instant Pot. So I'm going to sit that down in there. Okay. So we're going to do this again, but let's talk for a minute. So I got a comment. That's what those things are called. About someone who's doing a no-waste lifestyle. A, yay you. B, foil doesn't exist in that. So here's the thing. I haven't tried these yet, but you can get these little hot dog steamers. So they're made for homemade sausages. It's significantly smaller than this, right? So it really is kind of like a small hot dog size. And so they show piping meat mixed with seasonings. Obviously, we could pipe this stuff in there or make some that are the shape and fit them in. It's silicone, so I don't know how you feel about silicone, but it is no waste, right? And so they came 2 in a set, and honestly, I think you could go up to 4 in the Instant Pot to steam them. So I'm going to give these a go. So those would fit in the Instant Pot. These will not. I also got these little guys, which are silicone, and there's some kind of metal in here. There's no metal in those. And I was thinking these would be good for little tiny breakfast sausage links, or perhaps little tiny candy bars. So those are some experiments in my future. Okay, so those are some ideas. Now, if you're going to steam this on the stove top, I'm going to steam mine in the Instant Pot. Oh, and Joanne says here, let's see if I can do this without getting, let's all see Joanne's comment. Yeah, this new silicone basket is awesome. It actually collapses some too. And it's the perfect steaming basket for these sausages. So if you're doing my gluten-free vegan sausages or just some seitan ones, this is kind of nice. So I actually am they're gonna be like a winding staircase. I might put 2 on the bottom. Okay, oh, my poor computer. Sticky sausage leftovers, okay. And you just want to make sure that these don't end up being hollow or anything. And the dough, I have flaxseed in here. So when you first put the dough in the food processor, it's going to be more wet. And then the flaxseed draws off that liquid to help this be workable, really. Okay. I'll let you guys see from this angle. Okay. And I'm going to wrap it up in the parchment. Now I'm going to wrap it up in the foil. And if you get some little pieces of hot dog or sausage batter dough on here, it's okay. It's the end. It's okay. Don't worry. Okay, I've got those guys in there. And it's always better to get and this is why this water gets really murky. It's because basically I'm washing some of that flour and starch off of my hands. And if anybody else has a question, so I see some new people are here. So what we're doing is we are taking my gluten-free vegan sausage dough and making the sausages to shapes to steam. So these would be like the big ones that could go into a bun. I made chorizo with the sweet potato red lentil millet one batter that I did. Ooh, eCam, do not update my eCam right now. I am using it. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Susan. And Joanne says they may be sticky, but Kathy, you're making gluten-free sausages. Sausages you thought were gone forever. I know. And so what we're doing in the class, you're going to get at least this many spices. There could be more coming. You're going to get the chorizo spice blend, the fresh Polish spice blend, probably the breakfast spice blend, the Italian sausage, and what other one did I make? Oh, andouille. We're going to do, so they're going to be 2 doughs, and so we could make these into chorizo or andouille. I happen to mix Polish sausage blend in here, so that way, whatever it is that you kind of miss or want to use, you'll have that. And again, that's all going to be in the class, so we may not make all those spice blends, but you will get all those recipes. And typically what I do when I make my spice blends, if you're new to me, and if you are new to me, I'm Kathy Hester, and I have a whole bunch of cookbooks over on Amazon.com. I have 10 traditionally published cookbooks. I also have free recipes at plantbasedinstantpot.com and healthyslowcooking.com, though this recipe is not up there. This recipe, and actually let me do this across. Oh, and Joanne says, what size is my pre-cut foil? 12 inches by 10.75 inches. This is actually just food service pop-up foil. So it's really light. Since I'm using the parchment underneath it, it's already sealed pretty well. So the parchment is if you don't want this to touch the foil. The foil is truly the best way to do it. I'm going to see if I've also, yeah, so we can get those in there. I'm going to have some go this way too in a minute. And I think I got this at like Costco or BJ's or Sam's or something like that. And you can see the beets everywhere. I feel like, who was it that did We Got the Beat? I can't remember. Was that the Bangles? Somebody tell me, because I feel like you should be singing that as you see my red hands. So you can use, we're using the foil. The foil helps it steam and keep the shape. So the foil really is preferred. You can do it without the parchment paper for sure, though it could stick a little bit. So with this being oil-free and gluten-free, honestly, I recommend doing both, the parchment and the foil. If you are no waste and you can't use foil, again, I said these silicone things might be helpful. I haven't tried them yet, but I have them. Hopefully I will try them soon. Possibly not before Saturday, but maybe I'll try some with the hot dogs in the class and we'll see how that works. That would be a good class experiment. And again, if you're interested in the class, there should be a link down below where you're watching this video, but if not, you can go to kathyhester.podia.com, and then you'll see Kathy's Cooking Club. Scroll down a little bit and then you'll see the hot dog and sausage class. You'll also see in 2 weeks from Saturday, we're doing a Tex-Mex tacos and fajitas class, which is going to be really cool too. And in here, I want you to know that I've used chickpea flour. And so raw chickpea flour is kind of nasty, in case you didn't know, or cooked chickpea flour is beautiful. That's like what on pakoras and other things. So if you're using chickpea flour and you're smelling this, you might be like, that doesn't smell good. Trust me, after we cook these, it's going to smell really good. And actually, let's go back and give you an overhead view again. Go-Go's. It is the Go-Go's. Yay, Gina. And the Bangles. Oh, and Joanne was looking at foil size. Okay, I get that now. Okay, let's come back up here. All right, so I made this into my sausage form. I'm rolling my little parchment. It's okay if it doesn't meet exactly. Then I'm going to pull it back here. And I know that's a tear in the foil, so I'm just going to try and be careful. It doesn't really matter. We just want it to help hold its shape while it's steaming. Okay. And let's try putting one this way. Oh, that's going to pull it a little bit much. Let's just shove those in there. Honestly, it's not that important that they're perfect. I'm just being a little whatever. Unhelpful. And so see, the longer this sits around, it's going to dry out a little bit from the air. So if you live in a really dry climate, you might need to cover them. I'm in a very humid climate, so I'm not worried about that. But it also gets a little easier to work with. So if you're going to your dough, you might be going a little early. So probably on Saturday, you'll see more stick to my hands because I'm going to be trying to get everything done in the class time frame. Whereas here, that got to sit for a little while before I went live. Okay. And I do, you know, the pre-cut foil is really nice. What happened is we have a leak actually under our sink. So I lost my good foil, but this is perfect. It works just fine. And if you wanted to try to just use parchment, you need to have the parchment be really long, okay? And you have to tie it up at the ends, and you could steam it on the stove. Do not steam with parchment only in your Instant Pot because it could get caught up and make it unsafe. So I don't want you to do that. Let's not make things unsafe. Life is hard enough the past year without making it harder. Oh, Jeremy! Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. That's so sweet of you. Jeremy, are you taking my class on Saturday? Because if you're not already, why don't you email me? And maybe you'll get a super chat discount. So, because I would love for you to come in and be in the class too. All right, let's see what I'm missing. I missed all kinds of stuff over here. And Karen was looking in Clubhouse for this. I'm sorry. You know, I actually didn't even announce this. I just went live because I'm like that sometimes. And again, thanks so much, Jeremy, for the super chat. That's really sweet of you. So those of you who may not know, if you're on YouTube, basically he just gave me a nice tip. So in case you're wondering what super chat is, and I appreciate it. And don't forget though, you guys can, the class is $35 if you take one class. So, or you can join Kathy's Cooking Club and it's $50 a month, but you get 2 classes. So that's like saving $20 a month if you like to take my classes. And when you're in Kathy's Cooking Club, you get to help me pick what classes we're going to do. So if there's a recipe you've really been wanting me to develop, that's a really good way to do it. Now, that's not to say if you super chat me, we can talk about a recipe too. So, you know, I try to be as helpful as I can. Okay. So again, if anybody's just coming in, I don't think there are, but so this is the gluten-free vegan sausage dough. And let me let you see it from overhead, okay? So see, it's kind of Play-Doh-ish. You can see that some of the color is coming off of my hands. There were cooked beets, carrots, chickpeas, brown rice, and we used flaxseed, tapioca starch, chickpea flour, oat flour, possibly some other things in there. I have it all written down. So I'm doing this for tomorrow's class. So if you're already signed up, that's the reason you don't have the recipes yet. It's not because I'm being mean. You will get all the recipes and possibly, actually I think I already have a bonus recipe or two. in there. So I usually give you more than the recipes we do. Because of the steaming time, this time we are going to be doing 3 recipes. Let's see, I'm going to get in the water, get some of that gunk off my hands. Some of the starch is what the gunk is. It's nothing really horrible or anything like that. Okay. And so this is clean. Okay, so I need, to steam this, and I want to make sure my basket is going to fit in. So I'm going to get some water to put in here. If you're using a 6-quart Instant Pot, you need at least a half a cup of liquid to come to pressure. So somewhere between a half a cup and a cup, between a cup and a cup and a half if you're doing an 8-quart. Okay, and now it's getting cloudy now that I had all the cameras set out for the sun. But you guys, there's so much pollen. So much pollen. How about where you guys are? Do you have a lot of pollen? So I'm going to see what we can do. I might have made these a little extra long. So I'm going to actually take this basket now. I emptied it out. I'm going to put it in here. This will make sure, yeah, I kind of overestimated how long these guys should be, but it's going to fit in okay. Right? And I think this recipe made 7. So we just got to make sure that's there. I like this basket because it's got the nice handles. It's going to be super easy to lift out once I do it. And so for this recipe, I'm going to cook it on high pressure for about 35 minutes. And then here's another tip if you're not taking the class, or even if you are. I like to then let it cool as much as possible. So obviously if you're going to use these right then, you're probably going to sear them off in a nonstick pan. Or you could put them in the air fryer to give them a little bit of a skin, you know, a little bit more texture. What I did with the chorizo is I actually let it cool. I cut it into coins and then into quarters, and I just kind of pan fried that to use in tacos, taco salads. I think we made an oat nacho cheese that I've sprinkled and made this whole to-do dip on, so which is really awesome. So again, the ones I made on Instagram yesterday, I'll probably put that recipe in the class, and I may put that recipe on the blog. I just think I have to make the whole recipe again to photograph it. So I may wait on the blog because I think we could just do it and not steam it. I think we could just go ahead and do patties and chop them up and make it a quicker sausage. So that one was made with flaxseed, garbanzo beans, brown rice, Italian sausage spice. So, and because I didn't use the flours, there just was not enough binding to keep it together like in a bun. So, but like this or the other one that I'm going to show you tomorrow, that holds together a lot better. It's not as an exact replica as wheat gluten or seitan hot dogs and sausages would be, because it just doesn't have the gluten to hold it in. But what we are using are like tapioca starch and some oat flour, some flaxseed, and things like that to kind of hold them together. So it's not a one-for-one match, but you know what? I'll take something that looks like a sausage and tastes like a sausage right now that is both gluten and vegan. Gluten-free. I said gluten and vegan. Gluten-free and vegan. And Joanne says they're the nasty pollen period. Oh my gosh, you guys. Can you see the haze? That haze back there is pollen. It's pollen. It's not that cloudy. And I've been posting some pictures around. It's just a little bit crazy. And you know, Joanne, I did see the post about using rice paper as casings on sausage. But for right now, I'm I like it like this, and I like the fact that I like it like this. I think that's it. So I think if we put them in the air fryer, we can get a little bit of a little bit of texture on the outside. But you totally, and maybe we'll do one tomorrow. Maybe we'll do. I'm thinking we'd have to steam it. Then I would put it in rice paper, and then you could fry it. So the rice paper is going to have to be moistened. Then you would roll it up, and then that would give you more of a casing, crispy outside to it. Sometimes that creeps me out a little bit too, but we can definitely try that tomorrow because I got a ton of rice paper. But I'm going to steam these guys, and fingers crossed that this is the second sausage recipe we're going to make. The texture was really good. I expect it to be great. The taste is good. Remember, when you use raw chickpea flour in something, when you taste it, you're going to get a little bit of a nasty taste. Try and take that out of the equation if you can. So that's one of the things. It's going to seem a little funny once they get cooked. Then it's going to be a whole different flavor for that. And let's see. Oh, and Joanne thinks it's cool looking. And it is cool looking. So I've seen those before. So we'll definitely do that. So that sounds like fun in a class. I think sometimes what creeps me out about it, and it creeps me out on Beyond Meat too. Beyond Meat kind of has a casing, and it makes me think of things I don't want to think about. But, some people will say the same thing. Maybe these sausages make them feel uncomfortable. And that's okay too, do you. But we'll definitely give it a try and see what happens. Doc Rock, it is so awesome to see you here. And you missed all the goodies. But I'm making some gluten-free vegan sausage. And they are in here ready to be steamed. So it's a challenge. So you missed me playing with all the Play-Doh because it has beets and carrots and garbanzo beans and rice and some other things. And so I'm getting ready for my class on Saturday, which is tomorrow at 1 p.m. We're going to tape it live. So if you can't make it tomorrow 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you want to learn how to make veggie hot dogs that have veggies in them and gluten-free vegan sausages, and I'm going to give you like 5 different sausage spices, like Polish, andouille, Italian, chorizo. We'll throw some breakfast in there probably, or I'll at least link to my breakfast sausage because I've got a patty sausage on the blog, so I'll probably link to that anyhow. But if you guys think of another sausage spice blend you'd like me to create, go ahead and leave a link to that too. Doc, don't make me come over there because I want to have a vacation in Hawaii. So Doc Rock is over in Hawaii. So I'm waiting. He's the reason. You remember I did all those lives in December? That's Doc Rock and Diana. It's their fault if you got tired of me. But anyhow, we're going to have some good, yummy stuff. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to sign up for the class, there should be a link towards the bottom. If not, go to kathyhester.podia, podia.com. Scroll down a little bit, Kathy's Cooking Club, best bargain, $50 for 2 classes every month, 2 new classes, and you get to watch all the old classes too, as long as you're a member. Or you can buy 1 class for $35. Doc Rock says, come visit. Don't threaten me because I have not been to Hawaii and I want to go so bad. So, if I come though, you got to figure out all the vegan places to take me to. And you have to send me home with some of your homemade miso. I drive hard, bargain. Oh, yay, Sherry Ward just signed up. Awesome. I think we're going to have a really great time. The first chorizo batch turned out so good. And the thing is you don't even have to like all the sausage blends. If you've got 2 you can make, it's whatever you have on hand, right? So the first batch I had some millet. So we'll be able to interchange some of these recipes too on the fly to see what you have on hand. Maybe what color you want things to be. We want to use beets and things like I did in this one. Joanne issues me a challenge before these puppies are even cooked. Yes. Okay, how about this? I solemnly swear if this is the recipe that I'm going to be teaching tomorrow, I will take a picture of them. How about that? I thought yesterday was going to be that day, but no. But these definitely have the texture of the first batch. So I am 90%, 95% sure. I will give you a picture. I'll probably put it on Instagram, and I'll see if I can remember to put it on Facebook too. How about that? And Doc Rock is going to take us on a vegan tour of Hawaii. And that I will broadcast everywhere. I will be a live streamer in Hawaii. I promise you that. Oh, that sounds good. Ginger spicy miso sausage. Like the way you think. If we were in the same place, I think things could get out of hand super quick. We're gonna like be building stuff, and you actually can build things. Me, I make food. So actually, I guess what will happen is I'll have you making me a miso barrel. Well, I make for your wife some like veggie patties. How about that? Oh yay, Jackie's here. Well, and here's the thing. So I've got some okara. So one of the things I was thinking of doing was just experimenting, because okara is basically soybean fiber. It's the leftover from making soy milk. And I was going to go make another sausage with that just for fun. And maybe it needs to be miso ginger okara sausage. You gave me homework. And I wasn't even in your workshop. Okay, now don't make me miss my class because I'm flying to Hawaii to drink your whiskey and eat your miso. Doc Rock doesn't realize, I haven't had a vacation or traveled in a long time, and we got our second vaccine on Monday. So we've got like 10 more days before we can be out and about. And see, Jackie's saying, what would I substitute for okara? That's why we're not doing that one in class, because I think it's a little bit too specific of an ingredient. But I suspect, I'll tell you tomorrow, I will go ahead and do the okara sausage once I get off this live. I suspect we could use mashed vegetables. So like I'm using in this one cooked carrots and beets that I've mashed really well, which is a similar texture, maybe a tiny bit thicker texture than the okara. And I used a sweet potato puree, so you should be able to go back and forth. So one of the things we're going to talk about in class is when we're using these wet ingredients that are cooked vegetables. So I'm letting them strain for a while. So if your mixture is wetter this time, so for instance, the brown rice I used was from the fridge that's been there for a couple of days. So it was a very dry blend. So I didn't have to make up for extra liquid. You might have to end up adding more flours. And this is one of the things that you can't really put into a recipe exactly. That's a really good reason to take the class. So you'll see, because tomorrow I'm probably going to make my millet from scratch and my some more rice. Maybe I won't, if I can get away with not making rice, so that way you can see one that's fresher and wetter and one that's drier, and how you have to kind of adjust the recipe depending on what that is. But the goal is to end up with Play-Doh texture, which I know doesn't sound very pleasant, but it's still delicious. Gluten-free vegan sausages. Again, I say. Oh, Joanne got her second vaccine on Monday. Yay! Yeah, I was down a little bit this week because and it's like high allergy season here. So like literally it looks like someone just like has been going around spraying yellow on everything. Like you can see it almost snowing in the air because the pine trees in North Carolina are just poof. It's a little bit crazy. Ah, okay. Karen's saying, how do I join your club? I would love to have you join my club. If you go to Kathy Hester, .podia, podia.com. So you'll come to this, and the first thing is joins Kathy's Cooking Club. Woo! And if you click there, then it will go to the page that tells you about the cooking club. Basically, it's a membership, so you get charged $50 a month, recurring on whatever date you join. Through your interface on podia.com, when you log into kathyhester.podia.com as a member, you have a place where you can cancel that anytime you want. So just know that too. I know some people are a little bit wary of that, but as long as you cancel like a day or two before you're supposed to be renewed, you will not be charged. So you've got control over that. And what happens is then you're just automatically added into the 2 classes a month. So this month we're doing the veggie hot dog and sausage class. That's gluten-free, vegan, and oil-free. And then in 2 weeks from this Saturday, we're going to be doing a Tex-Mex class, class 1, because I found a whole bunch of Tex-Mex stuff we're going to do. But we're going to do fajitas and tacos. And I'm working on a recipe for a gluten-free flour tortilla. So fingers crossed. I didn't promise that one because I don't know if I can deliver. But I think I've got a good idea of what I'm going to do. So what would happen is then if you sign up for Kathy's Club, then you're magically enrolled in those 2. And then in May, when new classes come up, you'll just be magically enrolled as long as you are a member. In addition to that, so I've been teaching classes for like 3 years, but I think there's not 30 classes, it's almost 30 older classes. When you become a member, you log in and you'll see all these things that you can learn about. So like making tofu from scratch, making tempeh from scratch. There's also things just like an easy meal plan. So you could watch that and make your meals for the whole week. There's so many different classes. There's oil-free sauces. We make a vegan fish sauce, vegan Worcestershire sauce, tastes better than I can say it, and things like that. Oh, all right. Yay, apples in the house. Excellent. I'm glad everybody's coming in. I'm sorry you missed some of the things, but gluten-free vegan sausage is happening. Aha. Doc, do I have a recipe for sweet potato chips or dehydrating the Breville? Oh, you got the Breville's awesome. I'm trying to think if in my air fryer book, is it right over there? What I would do, and in the Breville, I think you could do chips. So you're going to go ahead and use your mandolin. Be careful, wear one of those gloves where you don't cut your hand. And you can tell your wife I told you to, even if you don't. Then I would probably put it on like 375, 400. Depending on how thin you get them, I would check them maybe even at every 3 minutes for a while. If you've got the extra baskets like I do, so I'm actually dehydrating parsley. So you can use 2 racks at the same time. I would also go ahead and toss them in a seasoning or salt if you're using before you lay them out there. You will probably have to pull some of them apart. You're not going to have to pull them apart like when it's in the egg-shaped one, because that's why I don't recommend making potato chips in the egg-shaped one. You can put like a few potato slices, they all smush together, you pull them apart, they all smush together, you pull them apart, and then you have a handful. But in the Breville, it's a little bit different deal because it's not blowing it around to the same miles per hour. That's what I'll say. And Doc, what I would do is I think air frying is still using a dry heat, and if you use oil, which I think you do, what I would do is spritz a little bit of oil on them, salt them, turn them over if they need to, do another little bit of oil and salt, so that would be fine. Those of you who are oil-free, you don't have to use the oil. The oil will make them a little crispier and a little more moist like a deep fried thing. Though the air frying is not going to be as thirsty as if you dehydrate them. I don't like dehydrated potato chips. I just don't like it. Just feel like it's sucking all the water out of my body. So I would recommend air fried over that and a little bit of oil if you use oil. Okay. Oh, and that's because Joanne and her husband got the second vaccine. Excellent. Joanne. Joanne, this is going to be, I'm going to have to quote you on my class. I love playing with Play-Doh / gluten-free vegan sausages. Brandy, I haven't seen you in a while except on Facebook. It is lovely to have you here. Ooh, and Doc Rock got his vaccine on Wednesday. Yes, drink lots of water when you're getting your vaccines, or if you're having it rain pollen where you are. Oh gosh, lots of nice things. And Jackie's saying cassava flour makes good tortillas. And actually from Misfits Market, they had like half price cassava flour, I don't know, 40% off. Maybe it wasn't half price. So I got 2 bags of that. And also, I want to see if I can do it. Of course, I'm going to try to do it oil-free because why not go for the gold, right? So I think what I'm going to do is use some sweet potato or something like that in the cassava flour and see how that works. 85% of my ideas work on kind of the first try. Sometimes I got to work a little harder. That's why I didn't promise them, just in case they don't turn out quite right. Awesome. Oh, did I go live when Chef AJ was on, Gina and Apple? I'm so sorry about that. I was just like, let me roll up these sausages. Let's have an audience, right? Okay, awesome. Oh yeah, no, it works like a charm drying up. And I got 2 big bunches. Let me show you because it's only been a couple of hours. So now this parsley, I went ahead and bought 2. Oh, it's almost ready. So I'm listening for it, right? So I think this would be good. I'll show you. You stayed around long enough to get extra show and tell. So because it's parsley, I am probably getting rid of the stems. I don't find a lot of the flavors in the stems like in cilantro. If this was cilantro, these stems are staying with me. And so I bought 2 giant, like there's 2 more just like this in here. And I got 2 giant bunches of parsley for like $2. So I needed to get, because I'm making so many spice blends, I actually had to go in and get some of the big guys out because I'm making batches and batches and batches of spices. So I thought I was going to get a big thing of dried parsley, and I'm like, that's stupid to spend $6 on dried parsley when I can spend $2, put it in the Breville, and have no issues. I'm also going to be dehydrating some shredded carrots, celery, some different things like that, and I'm going to try new, could it be improved? Dry bouillon. So it'll be a different dry bouillon, maybe one without nutritional yeast or an optional nutritional yeast for those of you that are having some sensitivities. And Chef AJ was just at that. Oh, and Karen said she forgot to build her Misfit box and she's getting a surprise box. I'm getting no box because my fridge is full. And here's the thing too. Is that a hint? Is that the only thing? So like, my camera's too low for that, Doc. My camera's too low. I gotta work on my Lumex settings though. So if you want to give me any handy tips about that, I'm happy to accept that. I know, and don't say get rid of it. I've decided it's staying for now. I may at some point upgrade to a Sony 6400. Sorry for all the techie talk. Awesome. Yes, I would, Apple. You can, because that's one thing. I feel like I'm an, what is it? Like you used to be in the tech world, you'd be like, I'm an Adobe evangelist. I feel like I am a garlic and onion powder evangelist. Not that there's anything wrong with fresh garlic or fresh onion, but I also do a lot of cooking in the slow cooker, or if you want to adjust things, because the Instant Pot can dull flavors, slow cooker dulls flavors. And also people are really testy about me asking them to saute onions and or garlic before they go in the slow cooker. They think that I am a mean, horrible person. But it doesn't taste as good. It just always is going to have this weird flavor. But if you use powdered onion and garlic, then it just kind of mellows out and it's beautiful. And so absolutely you could do that with onion, garlic. We can make our own beet powder, tomato powder, because I make my own tomato powder because whenever I get those cherry tomatoes, because I'm starting to be a teardrop tomato fan, but not the big ones. I just cut them in half and I dehydrate them and I grind them in my spice grinder. So the only thing when you're doing something like that with onions, vegetables, herbs, you want to get it dry all the way. If you are in a dry climate, my kitty says hello, that is Moxie, and she wants a snack that she's not getting right now. So I live in a humid climate. So if that's all dry and I leave it in there for a little bit too long, it won't all the way rehydrate, but it'll rehydrate a little bit, so it'll be too wet to keep well. So if you're in a dry climate, you don't have to worry about it, but just make sure it's really dry when you put it in the grinder. If you take any vitamins or pills and you have those little desiccant packs, I think that's what they're called. I know Joanne knows, and she's told me before. You can pop that in your little jar, too, to help keep things drier. Doc Rock says he'll help me. Thank you. That is a good question. So these were like super wet. Like I think the supermarket rained on them. You know how it has the little rain in the produce section? I was at the fancy Wegmans today. It was glorious. I really love the Wegmans now. And they, of course, gave me, since it's new in our city, I have a thing where I get $5 off every week. So it's such a huge savings. Once I go in there and we're spending, $80 on things, which are wonderful things. Their almond yogurt is amazing. It's just crazy. So it says, so these may be dehydrated. What time is it? 4 or 5 hours. And honestly, let's see if the middle ones. And I have them pretty, yeah, the middle ones are not ready, and I'll let you see. So maybe this will help. Okay, so see, they're still limp. There at the ends, I can hear some of the crunchy, so those are kind of crunchy. These are still just kind of wet. So you want to make sure they're dry. So there's not really a good answer for that. This top one was done. The bottom one's almost done. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to switch these. Actually, I'm going to take this top one off. Can you guys hear that? Hear that it's kind of crunchy? So that's what I'm listening for. And then I'm going to put this one on the top, and then these guys should be done another hour, hour and a half. What I don't worry about is leaving them too long. So if it had 8 more hours and I would go to bed and wake up in the morning, it's fine. It just might not be as green, the parsley, but I don't really care. So if you care, you can like really be more mindful, and you wouldn't have crowded the sheets like I did. I just wanted these 2 giant bundles to get done. So I figured I would take some out or move them around as it happened. So hopefully that helps. I know. And I do need to just talk to Marilyn. I'm not opposed to doing a dehydrating class. I feel a little funny because Marilyn is our dehydrating queen. But if she doesn't mind giving us some recipes for me to show you, I don't mind doing them. So Marilyn, if you were there and you would like to tell me some stuff that you do, because she does amazing things. She dehydrates everything. She has a garden. She cans. She makes sourdough bread. The only bad thing about Marilyn is she does not live down the street from me, because that would be amazing. I would be happy to trade some vegan gluten-free sausages for some of these things. So, and I know that there's some things that she's allergic to, but I don't think there's anything in these. Melanie saying how, yeah, desiccant packs. Did I say them right or wrong, Joanne, the first time? How would I prep the garlic to dehydrate them? There may be other ways. So probably what I would do, obviously I would take them out of the clove and then into cloves, take them out of their little skins, cut off that teeny part on the top because it irritates me. I suspect the people at the spice companies don't do that, but I don't know. Then I would probably slice it. It doesn't have to be paper thin or anything, but I would slice it and then put the slices around. So in other words, let's see if this, you see this oh, that didn't change cameras. There we go. See this mesh? I would make sure it wouldn't go through this mesh. So if it was teeny garlic, you might slice it lengthwise. But that's what I would do. That's what I would do. And actually, maybe I'll, it seems counterproductive because I literally today bought this much dry garlic. So I don't think I'm going to make that right now because that would be unhelpful to me. However, it sounds like we want a dehydrating class, and I'm already thinking of some of the things we could do. So, and we could do some spice blends and things too. So that might be a fun in-between class, maybe in May or June. We could do something like that to kind of get ready for dehydrating some stuff that comes out of the garden. Okay. And Helene would like you to go watch her at 4 p.m., which is in 20 minutes. Helene, why don't you put up your Triangle Veg Fest on Facebook? You can also go to Triangle Veg Fest on Facebook. And if I get off of here, I'll try and share it. But if you go there, who are you interviewing, Helene? Tell us more information and I'll do the spiel. I will do the dehydrator class before harvest time. I solemnly swear. Now I'm in for it. Okay. Marcy, you guys are asking me a lot of theoretical questions, which is fine. So if I was doing celery, I probably would cut diagonals fairly thinly, like a quarter, is it quarter inch? Not paper thin or potato chip thin. It would be, but try, where's an example? Where's my ruler when I need it? Probably about like let's see. Thinner than this, probably, or that would be the thickest that I would do. Okay, if I could, probably that thick, probably like 3 of those. So it's fairly thin. And so by cut on the diagonal, so I take that and I cut it on the diagonal to get more surface area exposed, right? And it, seriously, we're mincing hairs, splitting hairs, that's what it is. The thicker things are, the longer they have to dehydrate. That's all. So you want it to be where you're not using necessarily the mandolin to do everything, because I prefer to save that sort of thing for something really special. If you love your mandolin and you use it safely, you could mandolin everything and have everything dehydrate in probably half the time. But depending on how thin it is, some things could break, some things could fall through. For me, these, you know, if you're using a dehydrator that has a solid surface, totally go for it. That's the only difference. So when you say how long, I can't tell you. You do it until it's crispy. So I'm always assuming it's going to be several hours to overnight to 1 whole day. So I just think you should just go and check it back again. So if your celery is dehydrated and it stayed in there for 2 or 3 extra hours and you're making it into powder, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So having it in there too long, it's not like my souffle is in the oven for too long and now it has fallen. No. It's just, if you live in a humid climate like mine, it just will keep it from getting reconstitute a little bit, getting that humidity that it can absorb. So for instance, if I was getting ready to go to bed and it said it had 5 hours left, I would make sure that I would turn it up to have enough time that that dehydrator is going until I wake up in the morning. Because if not, it could undo some of the work. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Let's see. Joanne, I live in Florida, so harvest time is mid-fall through spring. So like all the time. That's great. Do I have a favorite kale chip recipe? You know, I have a collard chip recipe in my book, Vegan Cooking in Your Air Fryer. And you can get that on Amazon. If you just look up Kathy Hester on Amazon, all my books will come up. I can't remember if I still have air fryer cookbooks on the Triangle Veg Fest site. Virtual Veg Fest. If you look at virtualvegfest.com, some of my books are there and I can sign them for you. So you can email me after you buy it or put it in the note to sign it for you or for a gift. I don't have all 10 books though. I just have a small selection. But with kale chips, if you're not using oil, you could spray them with a little aquafaba. Or sometimes even if they're just a little bit damp from you going ahead and rinsing them and tearing them into pieces, I would toss them with a little bit of nutritional yeast. Maybe you could also do, I think I do this on the collards, if you don't, if they're not that wet, you can put like a little bit of Tabasco, toss it in so it's wet, and then put whatever extra seasoning you're going to put on there. Nutritional yeast. Sometimes I'll use a Cajun spice blend. You really could use just anything. And again, depending on how big your pieces are, small, if you've got stems on there, I would take any big stems off. I have the Phillips, using it in here would be pretty good if you have like a toaster oven style air fryer. You have to be careful because they get blown around a lot. So up in the top is like the old-timey electric stoves, you remember had those things? That's what's in the top of your air fryer with a motor, like a little fan. Woo! Right, so it blows things around. On my Phillips, I have a little top. And I bought an expensive air fryer just for that little top so I can make kale chips because I'm a crazy person. But what you can do is you can take, well, what do I got here that I can show you that you could use? A little steamer like this. So if you're putting this on your air fryer, you can put that there. Maybe stick it in a little bit. That will keep those kale chips from floating up, burning, and coming down in ashes. We don't need Phoenix kale chips. Thank you very much, because they don't come back to a Phoenix. So that would be my biggest suggestion for you. Coils. Thanks, Joanne. Joanne has a quarter of my brain that holds words for me. Yeah, and she lives in a humid area, but humidistat. Oh, you have a humidistat. You fancy. Okay. Awesome. Do you guys have any more questions? I know we kind of went from sausages to dehydrators, but you know, that's the way life goes sometimes. I can't think of anything else, but if you have some more questions, I'm happy. And again, let me go all the way back to the beginning, see if I missed anything. And Jeremy, email me at kathyhester@gmail.com. Anybody who wants to buy the class, go to kathyhester.podia.com. The top part will take you. You can click there and learn about joining Kathy's Cooking Club. $50 a month. You get 2 classes every month. Plus you get to see all the pre-recorded classes and watch them as many times as you want, as long as you're a member. Or you can buy a single class for $35 and you can watch that class live or as many times as you want. So if you have some questions, email me, let me know. Aha, and Joanne uses a mesh colander to cover kale chips. Any colander, and if you don't have anything like this or a colander, you can even take a piece of aluminum foil but poke holes, poke a lot of holes, just to make, like, use a skewer and do that, because you want the airflow to be really good, but you don't want the kale chips to be able to fly up, because as they cook, that's when they fly up right when they're perfect and you want to eat them. Okay. Awesome, guys. Well, this was super productive. I cannot believe we ended up hanging out for an hour. Again, go. Helene is doing something with Triangle Veg Fest at 4 o'clock. You can go, and I'm not sure who's on today, but definitely go hang out over there for a while. Maybe I'll come hang out with you. I'm going to steam my gluten-free vegan sausage. Everybody have your fingers crossed for me that this is the last version. Yeah, and catch on fire. Awesome. Yay. Okay, guys, have an amazing Friday. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on my cooking class. And if not, have an amazing, amazing fun weekend. And if you have allergies and the pollen's happening the way it is here, take your allergy meds or whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe. And awesome, Doc. I can't believe you just came and hung out with me like that. You're so awesome. And Joanne says, fingers crossed. Everybody, fingers crossed. Kathy's vegan sausage is awesome. Kathy's vegan sausage is awesome. Okay. I got to go feed the kitty. All right. Bye.